What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. Okay, now before we get going here, guys, we had some audio issues last week. So, what I want you guys to do in the chat right now is while everybody's going around and announcing themselves, let us know in the chat how each one of us sound because I don't want to keep going on the show if everybody doesn't sound, decent. So let us know in the chat as we kind of go around and as we talk. Please let us know and make us aware of who sounds bad. If everybody sounds okay, we just want to make sure we got a high quality show here. But other than that, let's go ahead and just get started here. So I'm gonna let the panel go around like we normally do here on the show. Thanks again everybody for showing up live. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys fucking show up and show out every single week. Appreciate you guys here. So let's just go start with you, Stag. Let everybody know what's going on with you, man. Got a new PC. So obviously that's an upgrade that you got going on this week. But everybody know what's going on with the stream. How you been doing?
Oh man, yeah, I got the new PC. Just been grinding the backlog. Really, just trying to clean up my games finished for the year, so I don't go back into next year with such a huge backlog. Just been working on the indie titles and the off time besides that. But man, I'm super excited about this new PC. It's shy fucking enormous. I did not expect the size of this thing when it showed up. But I'm excited to get that set up, redo my whole streaming area, redo the stream with the new stuff. So I mean, that's pretty much what I got going on. Just waiting for Christmas to get over with, been wrapping presents, and once that's done, I can set up whatever the hell I get for Christmas because that's all I really asked for was no more cool stuff for my gaming and streaming. So
Nice. So appreciate you here, man. Every single week, Stag, man. A huge integral part of the show, man. Thank you for being on today. Centurion, let's go to you, man. How you been? I know we talking pregame about you getting back into your normal YouTube routine. So update everybody as to what's going on with that and what you got going on this week.
Oh, well, I've just been, hanging out with the family for the holidays, spending so much deserved time with my wife. I plan to, as I said, go balls to the wall back on YouTube content creation full time as of the first of the year. But other than that, I'm kind of like Stagger. I'm just kind of working on my backlog a little bit, but it is getting longer because of all the sales Xbox is having. And I've also been trying to really hammer out Days Gone on my PS4.
Okay. Cool. So we're glad to see you getting back into doing YouTube, man. We missed the content, man. You know the content. We got to keep the heat coming. So hopefully that starts up soon. Appreciate you on the show once again every single week, man. And last but not least, man, the Bob Ross of video games, man. Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, what's going on with you, man? How you been this week and what you got going on, brother?
Not too bad. Been running around doing all the last minute stuff for the holidays. Got two twin boys, so it's been a little on the hectic side, but got some stuff squared away. Still working with Microsoft to get my Microsoft reward points for my Xbox Elite 2. Finally got that.
Okay, good.
And just been looking forward to this show, talking about stuff that we all love is games. So glad to be here.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. And once again, everybody, as you file in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed. Appreciate everybody who's watching live. Retweet the link on the show. It is on Twitter. That's where you're going to find a lot of our information, a lot of what's going on with us. You'll be able to keep up with us on Twitter, so hit us up there. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Let's dive right into the motherfucking topics. It's been a jam-packed week, everybody, so let's not wait any longer. So we always start with the poll of the week, guys. If you're new here, you're just watching live now, I do a poll of the week every single Monday morning. Follow me on Twitter. That's where you catch the poll of the week. And this week's poll of the week, I wanted to talk about, obviously, the recent news about the Xbox One X. Here we go. Xbox Series X, essentially. And so the poll of the week was, do you agree with Xbox showing the console early, 7 months before E3 2020? Chime in and let me know. So the options were absolutely 100% agree, no, they should have waited, or it doesn't really matter. Either or, it doesn't make any difference. So the poll was heavily favored in one direction, and that was 100% absolutely. They definitely should have showed it early, and everybody agreed on that for the most part. So we talked about this a little bit last week. Just wanted to kind of elaborate on why everybody, kind of had that train of thought. So we're going to start with you, Stag. And what was your reason and why, first of all, did you vote, and why did you vote that particular one?
yes, I voted, and I voted. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, Is there a rule on when you have to reveal the console? I think it was great. I mean, there was a lot of eyes on the VGAs or whatever, TGAs, whatever you want to call it, the Video Game Awards, and it was the entire gaming industry was watching. So why not take the opportunity if you're ready to reveal your console? So I think it was a great reveal. I think it was a great time to do it. And now you can spend, the next X amount of months promoting the specs, the games, what it can do, what they're going to do, with their roadmap going forward. So, I mean, yeah, and it gives them a jump on the competition because, if, the others were ready, if they're not ready, there's definitely some more pressure on them to finalize their design and get it shown, I would think. So, yeah, I think it was a good business move.
I think so too, and it was funny because it was uncharacteristic of Xbox. And we talked about this new Xbox going forward with Phil Spencer. Mike is gone. They got a lot of new blood in house, so they've been doing a lot of uncharacteristic things. I mean, we've been talking about this all year, from them not really having any leaks or getting on top of bad information early, all the way to this reveal being like completely left field for everybody. So I want to agree with you on one big thing here, and I think the key piece of that is essentially getting it out the way. And I think that's a huge deal because, I mean, you don't have to spend the next 7 months, everybody trying to figure out, well, what is the damn thing going to look like? You get that out the way early, and then
and they know they're out in front now. Yeah. They know they have to be out in front of it this time, and they've been pushing the business model the way they have been because they know they're behind, and they know they need to try and catch up. I could, so.
Okay. Cool. No, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So, yeah, I agree with that as well. I think that was just the most important key piece of that. It just gives them time to answer all the other questions about the actual console going forward, going into E3 next year. You're going to be able to control the narrative to a point without having that issue of, well, what does the thing look like, and having to spend time on the build-up. So I want to throw this question over to you, Centurion. What do you think, first of all, did you vote on the poll, and which option did you vote for and why?
I definitely voted. I'm definitely going to stand by. I'm happy for Microsoft doing this. This is definitely a different kind of Microsoft. I'm glad to see confidence, especially after what they revealed to us in 2013 and what we got. I'm pretty sure they were very hesitant. I'm pretty sure they had that whole meeting with Phil Spencer and everybody else. Are you sure we should reveal it? Are you sure we should reveal it? We all remember what happened last time. Somebody waved their arm and we were all freaking screwed. Anyways, it was definitely a mic drop moment. It caught PlayStation's attention, according to the people that witnessed I believe Mark Cerny or whatever it is, the guy that's designing the PS5. He actually got his notepad out, and I guess he started taking notes as Phil Spencer was speaking. So that obviously caught the attention of PlayStation and the media. And it's good to see that Microsoft has confidence. They never lost their confidence. I still say Microsoft just did what they had to do to survive this gen. This gen was screwed up from the beginning. They had to go in and redesign the entire console from the ground up. They had to go out and buy studios. They knew they royally messed up at the beginning of this gen. And so they've just been kind of doing what they got to do to just coast through this gen. And now we're going to really see what happens when we start a gaming generation, at least on Microsoft's side, with Phil Spencer in control. Yeah. We're going to see how Phil Spencer will really want to handle a generation. I understand Phil Spencer has been around for a long time. He's definitely a very influential figure of Microsoft and has been for a long time. But let's face it, he was not in control at the beginning of this generation. He's been picking up the pieces as much as he can since he got into his position. And now we're not going to see him picking up the pieces. At this point in time, he's the one placing the pieces in this game of chess that is started with PlayStation. Yeah. And I like what Stagger said. Now we don't have to worry about a reveal. We can worry about games, specs. The cool part is like E3. That's easily 15 to 20 minutes of time that have opened up for E3 on them not having to reveal this console to us. We don't have to worry about developers going out and posting photos of a dev kit that's going to look like that, and all of a sudden everybody's calling it a refrigerator and all sorts of other silly stuff. Dude, the room, like I'm so, like at this point, I feel like people in the gaming media are grasping for straws when it comes to how can we pick on Microsoft. I'm really over the idea on, oh, it doesn't look like a console, blah blah blah. It's not a console. It is a PC. It is a small, scaled down version of a PC.
They all are,
and and it's about time for the lines between PC and console to start being blurred. It's something that Microsoft has been working for a long time, because it's always been PC is Xbox, Xbox is PC, and they're really starting to blur the lines on that. And I'm really over people complaining that it's too big, because I have seen people fit stupider stuff on their entertainment center, me included. I've got plethora of collectibles on my entertainment center right now, and I will easily make space for this thing, because I'm sorry, it just shows me that they have put a lot of thought into this console. They walked in, told the designer, hey, this is what we're aiming for. These are the parts we're using. Figure out how to put it into something.
Yeah, it's nice. I agree. I agree a lot. With a bunch of everything you said for the most part. I mean, I think, like you said, the key part of that is that it was a bold and confident move. Keep bold and confident, as well as it just gives them time to kind of just do what they want. Now they're ahead of the game. There's no questions. Essentially, people can get it out their system. So you can call it a fridge now, but in 7 months, we're not going to be having that discussion.
Dude, did you see the gaming media guy that actually, when somebody did a gag where they put the Xbox Series X next to a black refrigerator and they threw the PS logo on the refrigerator? Yeah, and some gaming media website actually thought it was an actual screenshot of what the PS5 is going to look like.
You never know, man.
Dude, I'm just saying right now that was totally a refrigerator. You could see the two doors. You could even see the rubber seal around the edge of it. There was no doubting that was a refrigerator.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. You got to get them clicks, man. You know how that is nowadays in this generation. So before we start with you, Fuzz, before we get to you on this, want to let everybody know, the last quarter of the show, we're just going to be taking questions from you guys in the chat. So let us know. You guys can drop them in now early or drop them in as we're going through the topics, just talking about different things. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up. So if you're listening live, if you're in the chat, throw those questions in the chat so that way we can get to them. We're going to spend the last quarter of the show just on answering as many questions as we can for you guys. So Fuzz, go ahead, man. What was your vote essentially, and why'd you vote?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm so glad they got it out of the way. Like both Stag and Centurion were saying, get those. If people are going to pick at it, get it out of the way now. Get a lot of the unanswered questions out of the way, so that way it doesn't take up as much time on E3. I mean, it's not, I guess, their normal record or normal order of how they do things, but this is a different Microsoft now. This is a different Xbox now. So good that they took that bold move, decided when all the eyes are looking at, intending that looking at other stuff, just games and things like that in the awards, put that nice big surprise in the middle of it. So kudos to them. Just looking forward now to, 12 months from now when hopefully we have all these under our tree. So that was the biggest thing. It's definitely the right move, and glad they did it. Glad they got it out of the way.
Okay, so essentially, I wanted to throw a little curveball in there for you, Fuzz. So, What is that now? I know this is not part of the actual question, but essentially, do you think that was something that they consciously thought about? They say, you know what, like we're intentionally we're gonna make sure we get this out early before the competition does. You think that's something that Phil pushed for?
I think so, and I think they withheld some of the finite details as far as the amount of memory and things like that. They've hinted at what it's going to be, but it's still going to be a chess match up until both consoles are finalized into production time. And I think they at least wanted to throw that out there, know that they're aiming for the sky, and that if PS5 is going to come out here and say, "Oh, well, we're the fastest," and then they had to retract that type of thing and a job listing or whatever. I think they wanted to put their stamp on it, that's what they're targeting, and I'm pretty sure they've heard the fans like us not necessarily complain, but say how they don't necessarily advertise at the right times or do the right type of advertising or whatever the case may be as far as how they introduce products. This gets out all of the Xbone or Xbox SAD stuff out of the way early. It gets people interested, even though it's early and it's a whole season away. I think they consciously made that move, even though it may sacrifice some of their sales for this holiday. I don't really think that they were counting on any leaps and bounds as far as sales this holiday, other than maybe some of the Xbox all digital sales, which apparently is doing well for itself considering the price drop and stuff. But I think they definitely sat in a few meetings were like, all right, let's crunch the numbers. Yeah, we might lose maybe 2% of sales or whatever this holiday, but we'll make it up on building that momentum or building that excitement and hype for it prior to E3. I'm glad they did it.
Okay, cool. Well, great
Can I
breakdown.
hop in on that?
Go ahead.
Sure.
I just wanted, because he actually said they withheld a lot of information, and obviously it was a calculated decision coming out of Microsoft. And I'm just gonna say, this is rumor from what I've heard. I don't have any concrete information on this, but it was so calculated from what I've heard rumored is that they actually lied to Jeff Keighley and gave him a piece of paper of what they were going to reveal on stage. And he was completely unaware that Phil Spencer was going to come out and reveal the Series X.
I read an article that he was in on the fact that they were rehearsing a fake script, and he knew that they were doing that.
Yeah, I saw I saw somebody on Reddit, or it was, I think, no, it was Twitter. No, somebody asked him
actually, like a real article. I don't remember who it was from.
Yeah,
but
and he actually replied back saying, I knew about it. He said he knew about it. So it wasn't something that it was. That was so anybody out. I don't know if anybody outside of him knew about it though. It may have just stopped at him. I don't think anybody. Maybe obviously the production guys knew, because you got to set the show up to obviously production people that are planning everything probably knew about it as well, but there was probably very few people who knew.
To go out of your way and to create a fake script though, to actually kind of, if anybody was paying attention.
Yeah.
But they basically had a fake script for when they revealed Keanu Reeves as well. So it's not like this is the first time they've done something like this. So.
No, but this is Microsoft finally starting to try to plug the holes in the ship of all the leaks because, I'm sorry, there was leaks everywhere. And regardless, we all know Jeff Keighley is one of the biggest leakers out there, because I swear to God, that I will never forget when he literally tweeted the price of the Xbox One X before it was even revealed. And at that point, I'm sorry, I would be, if I was Phil Spencer, I would be cracking on that dude every chance I got. I'd be like, no, Jeff, get away from that. You're not allowed to see it.
Well, you got to keep good relationships, but I understand where you're coming from, man. So that was a great opening topic. Nice warm up, guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, man. So this is funny because we're piggybacking off of what we just talked about, guys. So next topic is, are we going to see an early reveal for the PS5? So essentially what this question is, now that Xbox has showed their hand, as far as just the design of the console, what it looks like, very, very generic and basic information regarding specs. Is this going to push Sony to reveal that PS5 early? Now, the caveat to this is that between now and E3, we don't know if there's going to be a PSX. I would assume there's not going to be a PSX. Generally, that's something that happens later on in the year, or any kind of pre-Sony show, a state of play maybe, that they're going to do to actually reveal what the console's going to look like. So I want to start with you on this one, Fuzz, because I know we ended with you on that other one. So what do you think this does for Sony?
I think it doesn't really put them on their heels, but it's definitely going to make them think out, the chess match as far as when to reveal, when to announce, the memory and all that stuff. I think there will be a little bit of an early unveiling, because I think for the PS4 as well as the Xbox One, didn't they both in 2013 or maybe it was 2012? It was like early. March or April or something. Or it was definitely it was early. It was like February or March or something. Yeah. So I can definitely see them probably after the dust settles and all the numbers are calculated for the holiday sales. I can see Sony doing something either late January or early February to, like, in their state of play, giving a sneak peek. Or if it's like Sony has been in the past, they might just show the DualShock 5 and just leave it at that for right now, and then save the actual unveiling for the console for E3. But they're going to unveil something, whether it's the chipset.
So
memory something.
This is the thing too. We're all assuming Sony's going to E3 this year as well. I don't want to get that ball spinning, but it's all. I think we're all assuming only because we know new consoles are coming out next year. We would assume they wouldn't miss E3 because of that. But who knows? I mean, they don't necessarily
They
have
kind of
to.
said they didn't go last year because there was no real big reveals.
That's true.
So,
That's
I
true.
mean,
They did say they didn't have much content because that's why they didn't go. So
why waste
obviously,
money? You know.
true. So this time around, they absolutely have a reason to be there. So I think we're all assuming that they definitely will not be missing.
I mean, if they want to lose next gen, don't show up.
I wouldn't say.
No, seriously. If you don't show up, I really feel like
Well, go ahead. You can segue
gonna
right
lo-
into your stack.
yeah,
Go ahead,
you're gonna lose some fans on that one. Sorry, like I didn't mean to cut you through, but
No. Go. No, but it makes sense. Like if they don't show that,
yeah, that's a slap. I mean,
Why?
for
Why
all
would-
the things that like Sony fans say about slaps in the face from Xbox and they lied to us, if they don't show up to the biggest fucking gaming convention in North America, like, is that not a slap in the face to your customer base? Like, yeah, we don't care about you. We're not going to let you like get a hands on. We're not going to show you stuff or anything like that. Like, it seems like that would be a freaking dumbass move. So, like, I get not showing up last year. They didn't have anything, but now they have a console coming out this coming holiday. So, of course,
So, what do you think about prior to E3 though? Them showing anything?
Yeah, I definitely feel like they're going to show some. I don't feel like they feel pressured any more than they may. I don't. No. I feel like Xbox is feeling the pressure this round just because of how this generation went. And I mean, I feel like I said earlier, like their business model that Phil has presented is profitable, and it's maybe not profitable, but it is making them money. And I think that Sony's responding to a lot of what Xbox is doing, and this is definitely going to make them go like, "Whoa, okay, shit, they ain't playing around." Which I mean. There's things known between companies that we don't know, that they know about each other. I mean, all the time. I definitely think we'll get to see it before E3, and I definitely think they will be at E3. So, it makes sense to see it early. I think maybe this might have pushed up their timeline for when they were going to show it, but maybe not. I mean, both companies have a plan. And it's their plan, and it's it might have a little bit of like, oh, what's the other guy doing in it, but it's still you're usually focused on your path, so especially as they feel like they're untouchable.
Yeah, so. And that's what I was gonna say. You literally just took the words right out. I was gonna say I don't think Sony has any pressure at all. I don't think they feel like there's any pressure for them to do anything, put a rush on anything. I don't think this changes any type of timeline for Sony. I think it did catch them off guard a little bit, like, oh wow, okay. It did raise some eyebrows, I would assume, but I don't think it created any type of worry or sense of urgency at Sony. I don't think anybody, took an extra meeting because of it. Like, I don't think that was a case, because they felt like they don't really have anything to really worry. I mean, they don't really have anything to worry about at this particular point.
You can king on top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, you can just transition right into the next generation. You got an extremely excited fan base. You got some great games coming out. Ghost of Tsushima to end essentially the end of the generation, and Last of Us 2. I mean, those two swan songs right there. You don't really have to worry about that. So I think there's really no pressure at Sony, but I can definitely see them showing something a little bit early just to kind of get ahead of it and get that out the way as well if they are going to be doing an E3 show. So Centurion, let's throw this over to you, buddy. I mean, what do you think the odds that Sony's going to be showing their console a little early?
Pretty good. I want to definitely say they want to retaliate with something, whether it's going to be a tweet, an email, or some other form of under the radar social media. I haven't been a big fan about how Sony's been releasing information. I'm right there with Stagger on the whole E3 situation. Nothing like treating your fans like they don't need nothing. Just get up on stage and show them something. Even Microsoft has showed us something. Come on, we all saw how Crackdown 3 worked out and all these other games. Heck, even Anthem was something that was marketed by Microsoft, so they at least showed us something. But I'm not a big fan of how literally Sony has been flying under the radar. No shows this year in 2019, and any information that they do reveal is very like I'm like right now my go-to source for information on the PS5 is regretfully Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that is pretty much where they have revealed a lot of stuff. For the most part. Don't get me wrong, there's little tidbits here and there through the gaming media, but for the most part, the biggest reveals are coming out of Twitter, and it's definitely gonna put Sony in a big position where they have to show something. The only problem is I think Sony has a big issue on the fact that they have made Microsoft go first for years when it comes to revealing consoles and other stuff. And Sony has actually banked off of that in the fact that, you know, we won't forget the reveal of the Xbox One again, but, you know, it didn't go as planned. And so, you know, Sony was late. Like around 5-10 minutes coming to the stage because they were literally remarketing the PlayStation 4. They took the camera out. You know, they might as well had a guy come out on stage with a magic marker and start adjusting things on the promos and stuff that they had up there. I mean, like, so now definitely Sony is in a position of what do we show? What do we hold back? What can we do to outdo Microsoft? Because Microsoft basically showed us what it's going to look like. And now the problem is everybody's been ridiculing what the developer kit looks like for the PS5. The venting, it looks like a toilet seat, all sorts of stuff. It looks like a form of an easy bake oven. You know, so it's basically, you know, what if Sony was like, well, we thought it was a good design idea, but now that everybody's tearing it apart, you know, what do we show them?
That's the final design. There's no
dude.
way. I'm not gonna say there's no way, but I mean, no, fuck that. There's no way.
How about this? If they had a design already picked out, I'm standing by. I think they would have showed us.
Stag, tell him right now. There's no way that could be the final design.
What did I do?
Stag, go with me on
right now. There's no way that. Now,
tell me if I sound crazy, but I think if PS5 already had a design choice in the works or knew what it was going to look like, even a render, they would have shown us something. They would have been like, "Oh yeah, the Xbox Series X. Yeah, this is what we're going to have."
I don't think so. I think they're like, "Oh, cool, good job, Microsoft. We already know what we're doing. We have a plan." I mean, with not coming to E3 and doing state of plays, they've clearly said we have our own way of doing shit and we're going to do it a certain way from now on. It doesn't matter what you do.
But let's look at it like they've had so many changes of the guard, different people in charge. They've gotten rid of a couple other people. I'm really wondering if they even know what that console is going to look like.
Somebody else is running the show now and he has an idea of how he wants it run. You know, and he put in somebody, you know, in place that's going to follow his orders. You know, like they know what it's going to look like. Come on.
Well, the dev kits and their final product are usually like two totally different looking things, but still,
there's no way. I mean, there's no way. Almost less than a year out that they don't have a finalized design.
Well, why else?
I mean, they've got to get those cases made. They've got to it's got to be all that shit's got to be made in China or wherever the fuck it's going to be made. Like mock-ups got to be done, molds got to be made. There's a lot of parts and pieces that have to come together. And you're going to rush it and then have a launch like Red Ring of Death shit.
What else got Mark Cerny's attention? All they showed people was what the console was going to look like, and all of a sudden, apparently, this guy's interested. So. Like, again, maybe this dude was taking notes on the design choice that they chose for the console when it came to cooling, because at the end of the day, we all know from previous PlayStations that PlayStation has a huge issue when it comes to cooling these systems. For some reason, PlayStation slaps these loud, noisy fans that are off the shelf inside these consoles, and it's detrimental to the appeal of the console. Still to this day, one of the worst consoles I've ever owned was the PS3 Super Slim, because when that fan would kick in, the whole console would rattle. Luckily, I haven't dealt with some of the noise issues on my PS4 Pro like other people have dealt with, but still, that's like the most common thing people talk about on the PS4 Pro is how noisy it is. And like, I'm sorry, but the dev kit, to me, shows yet again that PlayStation didn't put in enough thought into how to cool the system. So there is a part of me that is worried that they thought that this was a good console design because of this is how they wanted to cool it. And I really do think that the way people have been talking about the dev kit has caused PlayStation to want to pivot and actually change a design idea that they had for the console, because yet again, Microsoft showed there's a sleeker way to do it. It may be a very unusual it's unusual and new.
I think it looks great. So,
it's unusual and new. It looks awesome. It's definitely something that's going to stand out. It's going to catch people's eyes.
There's no way that's I get what you're saying. I understand all the points. I promise you, there's no way that's a fun design. Like, there's no.
What would you do if that thing came out and it literally looked because people even talk about how the Xbox One dev kit looked very similar to what we got.
Well,
if it does look that way, I think there'll be a strong business model for somebody that wants to redo a case for that.
Yeah,
if you want to do like, you know how like you have custom computer cases, there'll be custom PS5 cases at that point.
That's not even a practical design. Like for you, so the first thing you think about, I would think, when you're designing a console. Now, I've never done this shit. Obviously, is that people are gonna have to put this thing somewhere, and you have to think just a practical application, like, where are they going to sit it? That's not a practical design. It's shaped like a Dyson handheld vacuum.
It looks like a Roomba.
Yeah, like a Roomba. Like, that's not a practical design.
Roombas are circular.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
that thing looks like if you set it on the floor, it's going to pick up debris.
It's not like not even joking, but that's not even so. I just don't. I get what you're saying, but I have a hard time thinking that would even be something that they would even consider. Like, I get the venting and needing. No,
I fully agree with you on it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, like, you're sitting there going, I really hope to God it's not going to look like that, because if it does, oh my God. I'm just saying.
I must be in the vocal minority where I'm just like, don't give a fuck what it looks like, as long as it plays video games really, really well.
Yeah. That's the other thing. I don't care about what it looks like. I'm not one of those people that lose sleep. But like I said, for me, it's the idea of the noise it's going to put off.
Yeah, I don't want to hear noise and vibrations. That's my big thing too.
And like I'm sorry, that thing just,
and I never hear it.
That thing just screams. It's got a lot of fans in it. And I really hope to God it's as quiet as they want it to be, And that's another thing to say. Like, people can't deny the fact that PlayStation has made some noisy consoles, because when the marketing came out for the PS5, one thing they wanted people to know is that they were going to make it quiet. Yeah. That's pretty bad when you got to reassure people like, look, we know what you've been saying. We're going to make the console quiet this time.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Got to let people know. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, man. That was a good one. That was a great topic. So once again, chat, not only are these questions for us, but they're for you as well. And I do want to reiterate that we're going to be taking questions from you guys specifically for the last quarter of the show. So throw your questions in the chat right now. Everybody that's rocking out with us live, appreciate you joining in, showing up, showing out, as you guys do every single week. Sorry. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Appreciate you guys. Love and support. So let's go ahead and go over to the next topic. So this is actually kind of a cool one, and this is something that we've talked about this generation, but we haven't talked about in a little while. I feel like we, at least not on the show, this particular podcast. So I saw essentially it was an article, or I think Phil either tweeted somebody back, but he said the Xbox Series X, and I shout out to Xbox Pope, because he was directly referencing. He was talking to Xbox Pope as well. If you guys don't know who Xbox Pope is, go follow him on Twitter. He is the king of like custom console designs. Like, he designs consoles like just for YouTubers and other people on Twitter. And I think he's made one for just about every single one of us. I'm just about. I know he's made one for me, but he designs consoles. Super awesome guy. So essentially, Phil was like, the Xbox Series X is the perfect console for customization. And this is something that we have not gotten any of hardly with the Xbox One X and this generation that we're still in currently. So be it the fact that Phil even sees this as an opportunity to get limited edition consoles, skins, wraps, custom decals, all kind of cool shit with this console. Are you guys excited about that? So what do you guys think about? Was that one of the first things you guys saw after reveal of the console as well? Because I know people were talking about that a little bit later on, that's kind of something that they thought about too when they just saw the overall design of the console. So let's start with you on that one, Stag. Did you ever consider that when you saw that design?
I mean, I always hope that they're going to do more. I mean, I think that's definitely one thing that's been lacking this gen. But I mean, it's kind of hard to do a lot of limited edition consoles when you're not selling a lot of consoles in the first place, which I think we all understand and respect. I think that that console itself lends itself great for multi-dimensional design work because it's got, you're going to get, at least if it's standing, you're going to get the 3 to 4 sides, that you get to look at, because there's always a back. But what's the defined back? We haven't seen where things plug in yet. So my one problem that I've had, it's going to be great. I think if it sells well, we're going to get limited edition consoles. I think that it all comes down to that. Mm-hmm. Maybe it won't. Maybe they're just like, we don't fucking care. We're making a ton of money off of our subscription services that we can afford to lose money on putting out some custom consoles. But my one problem, and I've noticed this with mock-ups that I've seen, even Pope's, which he makes great mock-ups. No fucking denying that. And I love them. My one problem with all the mock-ups I've seen is the design only works one way. It either works standing up or it works laying down.
True.
It's when he did the Gears of War one, he put the cog slightly tilted, so it did work both ways, but it still looked like it looked better a certain way. To me, it looked better standing up, and I think a lot of these designs, depending on how the designer thinks about laying it out, if he, when he conceptualizes it, or she looks at the box and says, I'm going to do it horizontal, but then the person that buys it puts it vertical, it's going to definitely make the image doesn't shift. I don't know if we've got that kind of paint technology, but that would be fucking tits. So that's my only problem, but bring it. I'll fucking stack some more shit on my shelves with collectibles if they do it. So awesome. I think it's great.
Awesome. I just think so. For me, I get what you're saying, because I didn't even think about the orientation of the console matters, especially with the particular shape that it is. You either have to have it one way or the other, and like you said, the design does not shift. So either it's going to have to be a really, really plain design on the console itself, which would suck because the console is ripe to be designed. Look at it.
I think images are going to be tough, but
it screams
design
color
will work.
On me or paint on me. Yeah, it screams. That's what the console screams. Fucking make write on me or draw on me or something. So I think you're right about that on one hand. On the other hand, could be very interesting because just the idea of us getting more limited edition consoles, because there was a severe lack of that this generation. Like you said, there could be various reasons for that. Sales being one, maybe some other reasons as well. But I'm excited that Phil. That's what he's thinking, that he's on that track as well. That's nice to hear that, he's thinking the same thing we're thinking when he saw it. He had that idea that, this thing would really, this thing is right for, designing a limited edition console. So hopefully that's something we see more of. So I'm going to go throw this over to you. Fuzz, what did you think about the idea of custom limited edition consoles? I know you're big on that, very specific ones. You're a bit of a collector in that regard. So what do you think about that idea? Is that what you thought when you saw the console initially?
Initially, I didn't think that much about it. I'm just hoping at some point that they decide to put the console unit itself in the Microsoft design or design labs.
Oh, I would love that. Oh man!
Even if it's just to put the sports team logos, or just to have different colors or things like that. That would be the simplest thing. But considering the flat sides of this thing, wraps are going to be huge. I think not as many people did wraps, I don't think, on their consoles, just because you got 2 or 3 sides that have to be vented. With this design, with the venting mainly being on probably the back and on the top, depending on how it's oriented, I think it's going to be a lot easier as far as for companies to make wraps for it. And I think Pope has already done a Halo one. And I think, was it Extreme Consoles?
Halo, Gears. He's done 10.
Oh, yeah, he's done a bunch
he's going crazy.
Or he did an Ori one. The Ori one was sick.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, yeah.
Did a Sea of Thieves one.
Sea of Thieves one, yeah.
Already?
Yeah, already.
Dude, he's just banging them out, man. One a day, if not more.
In the sweatshop over there. Shout out to Pope, man. That's an awesome dude, man.
But I think Extreme Consoles did a Borg, Star Trek Borg one. So that's
cool.
It's definitely going to be cool to see not only just the fan designs, but what either wrap companies come out with or Xbox themselves offers as limited editions. I'm hoping, or I'll probably wind up doing it myself. I'm hoping for like a Forza one, do like Shelby stripes on it or something,
That
or
would
like
be
a
cool.
golf like paint scheme one or something along those lines would be pretty cool. But it looking forward to it. It's definitely something that caught my attention as far as, it's going to be a lot. I wouldn't say a lot easier, but it'll definitely be a lot more, I guess, design friendly compared to like the X and the S was on this generation.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm really hyped for that. I just, like I said before, because I mean that's something that we've talked about all generation, and I don't feel like it's really ever been. I don't recall Phil ever coming out and talking about that, addressing that specifically, like the whole custom console situation. So it's kind of nice that before we're getting these new consoles, that's already something that's on his mind that he's thought about. So it's kind of nice to see he's getting ahead of that idea as well. It's kind of along the same lines that we are. So that's kind of cool. So Centurion, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, man. The idea that we may be getting some custom consoles, that this console, the Series X, is better suited or more suited, according to Phil, to have limited editions and wraps and all these customization options.
I think it's a great idea. I'm ready. They've been listening to the fan base talk about how they want more custom consoles this entire generation. Hopefully they do embrace this. We all hear about how they want to have options. Well, one of the biggest options you could have are, like you guys say, wraps, decals, all sorts of stuff you could do to this console. Have some things come out of design labs, like Fuzzy said. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Heck, man, if you could make the case a custom color,
exactly. That's what he's talking about. Yeah.
I'm just all sorts of stuff. It's really awesome. And one thing that they've always speculated too about this console is that green light that looks like it's coming from inside it. Is that going to be something you can go in and change the hue of in your console? Be like, I'd rather have it like a magenta.
That would be cool if they had that in the settings somewhere on the console. You can go in and
just
adjust
I'm just saying, imagine a Gears 6 limited edition console where that light is red or it's blue, because obviously the cog is now going more towards the blue. There's definitely a lot of things you could do with this console, especially those flat surfaces.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contours to the X. I like what you were saying earlier. Well, also what Stagger said earlier. You either got to have it stored. The image is going to be based on, is it meant for it to be laying down or standing up? Right now in my entertainment center, I have my console, which is the Gears 5 one, on basically horizontal, and I wish it was vertical. I wish I actually took the time to find room to make it vertical, because that symbol, the locust symbol, is hidden underneath, and you don't even realize it's there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just little details like that, like you kind of miss out on, like when my wife got me the charging base for the Gears 5 controller, one thing I was worried about was, oh man, the symbol is on the battery compartment. I don't know if I want to swap out the door on my controller and get rid of that symbol. Well, the cool part is with the Gears 5 charging base, they actually move the symbol to above the opening where the plates are for the charger. So they actually found a way of keeping the symbol on the battery door, which I thought was really cool. And it's just little details like that. You don't want to have them lost in the shuffle. I saw that one that was being done where it was a Halo Series X, and it was done for the console laying down on its side. If you were to turn that thing standing up, all of a sudden the characters aren't going to look right, and the whole battle will just look weird because it's being done on a vertical instead of a horizontal. So I'm really curious on, are they going to make the decals based on your preference for the console?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, that's a great, like I said before, that's a great idea. I think it's a lot of different things that they can do. I just like the idea, Centurion, and I think you agree as well, that Phil's in on this. He's aware, that this is a thing. And that kind of excites me about it.
Now, I have one question when it comes to the vertical and horizontal thing on these consoles. Remember back in the day on the PS3, you would store either vertical or horizontal?
Yeah.
And the PlayStation logo would turn? On the original PS3s, the big fat ones, you could actually turn the PlayStation logo so that way the logo would match how you're standing it.
Yeah, I do remember
if they're
that.
gonna do.
I always kept mine horizontal, but I do remember they always showed it in the ads, and I'm like, wait a minute, if I lay this thing down, isn't that logo be kind of lopsided? But no, yeah, you're right. I do remember you could spin that.
I'm wondering if they're going to do that with the Series X, because the symbol is obviously the on and off button.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're going to make it to where you can actually turn that button so that way the logo is the right direction depending on how you have it stored.
That's true. That's true.
It's just another point of failure, though. Just like something that could fail. That's
true.
all I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I can't turn my Xbox on.
The decal cover my own button too. I didn't think about that. All right,
well, dude, one of the biggest problems with decals in the past was they would actually cause the consoles to overheat.
Yeah.
So now that Phil Spencer is actually, like, oh no, putting a vinyl wrap around your around your console is going to have like little to no effect because we've really thought out how we're going to vent the system. Because I remember back in the day with the Xbox 360, they would sell decals and vinyls all day long for them, but you would never want to use them because anybody who'd use them would always tell you like, oh yeah, the console overheated.
Yeah, that thing had a lot of air issues. So I assume they've thought of things like that already. So hopefully they've covered all their bases, and we're going to get information about this. And this is why, going back to the first question, it is good that they did the review early. We're having these questions. We're talking about this now. We're going to be able to talk about this for the next 7 months. So
they're going to get a lot of feedback on what they can and can't do.
Exactly.
Or not can and can't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I get just feedback is key. Information is key. All the feedback they're taking that in prior to the show, just they're going to take it in and store it and think about it. And they still got a little time, to do some different things with the console. So I love it. So that's the benefit of releasing that console early. So now we've come to the point in the show where we're going to be taking some questions directly from you guys. You guys, from this point forward till we hit the off button, will now be controlling the show. Button? Yeah. So so you guys throw some questions in the chat right now. We're going to go ahead and answer them. Now the funny thing is, I felt like some people did some questions early. For whatever reason, it will not let me go all the way back. So go ahead and throw them in there now. That way I can go ahead and read them off, and we'll answer them as best as we can for the next few minutes. We'll take as many as we can possibly get, so throw them in the chat right now. So we're going to take one from Born Distracted. Shout out to Born Distracted, always showing up here, man. Appreciate you supporting us. He said, do you guys think the X series will have full Dolby Vision HDR support? So I am not the tech guy on this show. That is definitely for Stag, Fuzz,
that's not for
and
me.
Fucking Centurion. Well, Stag, Fuzz and Centurion. Sorry. Fuzz and Centurion. Those are the two tech guys. So you guys can both have at it with that question. So whoever want to go first, I don't care. Go ahead.
I think they'll at least have the HDR10 support and the what is it, the Dolby support on it. But like right now, I think the X has the Dolby and just not the HDR10, but the what do you call them? The other HDR. I'm not as tech savvy as probably Centurion, but I think they will, at least with this one. They'll probably have everything that's available per the current HDMI, lines and things like that. I think they'll probably have ready for that Xbox Series X, and it'll just be a matter of, as long as your TV can support it, or as long as your computer monitor can support it, it'll be able to work for it, type of thing.
If I'm wrong, don't burn me at the cross, but
gonna do it.
If I remember right, when the Xbox One X came out, they had a deal with Samsung, and I remember seeing all these deals for the QLEDs, and Samsung is a big pusher of HDR10.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dolby Vision was it's kind of weird. It's kind of like right now, a lot of people don't understand with HDR. It's kind of like back in the day with Blu-ray versus HD DVD. Both of them provided a high definition experience, but one did it better than the other. And when HDR10 came around, it was considered one of the better versions of HDR. And then Dolby Vision really hit the ground running, and they've made a really good HDR product. It's almost becoming like the name of HDR now. And so I'm pretty sure it's going to be compatible with both. because they have to understand, if people are using these, like the big TVs right now are OLEDs, and those use Dolby Vision, but I'm still not sure if the new QLEDs that are coming out from Samsung, I don't know if Samsung is still pushing that HDR10 whole thing, or if they're actually switching over to Dolby Vision themselves, because there's been a whole slew of problems with the fact that there's two forms of HDR. Because on my Samsung televisions, at least the ones I have here that run off HDR10, I have a Vudu account with a huge digital library, and a lot of these movies I cannot watch the 4K compatible versions of those movies through the Samsung Smart Hub, because the Samsung Smart Hub is HDR10 and Vudu does Dolby Vision. So it's definitely created a lot of problems on the fact that there's two versions of HDR running around out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so see, those are our resident tech guys. So great question, Born. So we'll go ahead and roll over to the next question. Shonsu, shout out to Shonsu Modded Year. He said, "What game will you be playing this holiday?" Anybody want to quick, go ahead and just do a quick runaround of games?
I'm gonna be playing Trover Saves the Universe and Immortal Planet,
Dude.
but also just cleaning up my hard drive.
Am I gonna get to watch you play that Tabs game at all?
Is that out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is
Downloaded
that?
it today.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking at what's it called.
Dude,
Just,
I tweeted it
totally
to you, bro.
accurate battle system.
Simulator,
I
yeah.
think if you type in tab,
I downloaded the I watched the trailer on it today. That looks fun.
Yeah, we definitely got to watch you stream that. But okay,
It looks.
What game is this?
Normally, I probably wouldn't play a game like that one, but that one looks ridiculous enough that I'm like, yeah, I can do that shit.
What game is this?
Tabs. Total. Was it totally accurate?
Totally accurate battle tactics or some shit
Battle
like that.
Simulator,
It's Battle Simulator. Yeah,
ridiculously.
I'll have to check
it's
this out.
in Game Pass preview right now.
Yeah.
It's like in the preview program, but it's in Game Pass.
Yeah.
So.
So pretty neat. So
yeah.
if anybody else want to just let them know what games you guys will be playing this holiday at all, anybody?
Probably will be playing Tabs as well with the kids because they've been waiting for that for ages. Like they thought it was going to be PC only, and I'm like, no, Xbox is coming. So glad that that's here. I'm going to try to see if I can give a try of that Untitled Goose Game.
Nice.
I've been seeing some people have fun with that.
It's the new Goat Simulator, man.
Yeah, and then what was the other one? Oh, my friend Pedro played a couple of rounds of that. I'll probably get back into that. Try to get some get that achievement for the S levels for 10 levels or 25 levels or something like that.
Cool.
And then my go-tos, Forza Horizon 4, because I got to get that chicken dinner if that's what you want to call it for the Eliminator, and get I finally cleared up some stash space in the Division, so I'll be playing a little bit of all of those that morning. So yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to throw that?
Obviously, outside of working on my backlog, which is a mile long, I do what I do every year for this time of the year, and the community is welcome to join me if you're into that kind of thing. But Elder Scrolls Online always has the New Life Festival, which is where they kind of just get everything getting ready for the holidays, and it's just something that they do for Christmas and New Year's. And I just do that every year, just run around with my friends and do the little activities. And then obviously I also I don't know why, I just like participating in the multiplayer activities. Like with Destiny, I know hopefully they're going to bring back their holiday event, and I don't know why, it just gets you in the mood when you actually see like the actual what's going on in the outside world starting to get into your actual games.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead, and we got a couple more questions that people dropped down here in the chat, so appreciate you guys being consistent today. So I think BZ McNasty, shout out to BZ, man, watching live here with us. He said, do you guys think the Lockhart will release with the Series X or after? That is a great goddamn question, BZ, because we talked about this last week on the show about the two different SKUs. So anybody want to quickly, throw that out in their opinion on that? Essentially, anybody want to take that one?
60 to 90 days later, I think, from the X, because I don't think they want to hurt the sales of their King system, but I think they're going to really push that one because that's going to have all the bells and whistles and all the stuff that they're going to want to push forward. And then for all of those that are like, oh, 500 or 600. I'm hoping it's close to 500. 500's too much. Okay, well, here's your answer for $399 or $349 or something like that. Here's the Lockhart. So I think they'll give it like a 60 or 90-day window after the X. That's my guess.
Okay.
Are we confirmed on the two SKUs at this point?
I don't know if that's it. That's it. And
I mean,
was actually
we're still speculating it, right?
They haven't denied or confirmed, so it's
Okay.
like that. They're playing that.
But there's rumors that both companies are possibly doing
Sony.
Right.
Yeah. There's both.
So.
Yes. The rumor I heard of Sony was essentially that they're not definitely, but they're looking at a mid-gen refresh. Like a mid-gen refresh is definitely possible with the PS5.
I think they're all going to do that. I think that's why they named the Xbox the way
Series
they did.
X, yeah, absolutely.
They could do that, but I could definitely see. I agree with like Fuzzy in the sense of like launch the Series X, maybe mid-November, and then have the Lockhart or whatever, the lower end, ready for them holiday purchases, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not, and like you said, the
money, But I mean, then you got two consoles on the market, confusing people.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Even though we got 12 different iPhones, let's not do that.
I know. I'm just saying, but it's just if they're gonna do it, I could see like them like, we have this, if it's $500, if it's $600 high end console, saying, well, if that's too much for your holiday budget, we've got this $300 option, or this $400 option that is digital only, but will still kick ass, and it comes with a year of Game Pass and Gold. Man,
that would be cool.
That's not a bad deal. You're getting how many games day one, plus a year access to that for say $300. I mean, shit, the value of the Game Pass and Gold for a year is like $130, $140 if I'm not mistaken. I mean, if you paid for it. We all know there's ways to get it for free, but
do your surveys, people.
Exactly, just do your dailies, man. But yeah, I could see that.
I can see it too. And even though like I know Shonsu said it's confirmed, but I haven't seen anything that it's actually confirmed as far as the two consoles. But I would
not 100% confirmed.
I mean, that's true. But we all think where there's smoke, there's fire. Essentially, that's I think where we're coming from here. That's the logical sense that there's probably going to be another additional console. If this depending on the price point and everything else involved, they may throw that one out there. But I would agree that. I'm not even saying 60 to 90. I'd like to see maybe even a full year. Like I wouldn't mind even a full 1 year.
That makes sense too, yeah.
Before they decide, okay, let's throw out this other. I mean, it was similar with the S. I mean, this last iteration was an anomaly. Like I don't know if they'll ever get off to as bad as the start they got off to in 2013. Again, everything that happened after 2013 was absolutely necessary to keep the brand relevant and just try and get it back to where it was. So I don't think they're going to have that kind of pressure this generation going into that. So there'd be no pressure to let's throw out a new version of this console right away. There's no reason to do that. It's not a 2013 situation all over again. So I think they can definitely rest and wait. They'll put this console out. Obviously, price point's going to dictate a lot of things. If it comes out in the 600, it depends. I mean, but if it comes out and it's giving you every goddamn thing under the sun that a $2,000, $4,000 PC would give you, and a $600 package in it may be justified, I think it's going to fly off the shelves. But I definitely like to see it. I'd say about a year. I'd say about a year or so for me.
Well, I'll let you know if the Series X compares to that level of a PC.
Well, yeah, you got it. These guys here on the listen. They got Stag has a great PC. Centurion has an awesome PC. Fuzz as well. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, we can definitely make some direct comparisons. We got one or two more questions here. Let me pull this up here. I saw one asking about a Switch Pro. I think that was Born.
Would love one.
What was it? Where was it at?
I don't know. I mean, but shit, if we're talking about a Switch Pro, I'd totally get one.
Yeah. I'm trying. Oh, here.
I was disappointed they didn't announce one and they just announced the Lite.
Yeah. So Born, shout out to Born Distracted, saying, when do you think the Switch Pro is coming? First of all, have they confirmed the Switch Pro?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I
that's
haven't heard anything.
They have that
cheaper
cheaper Switch that doesn't
the
Joy-Cons don't come
Lite.
off or something like the Lite. Yeah,
The Lite,
and that's been very popular.
Yeah, it has. Lower price point, just a little more convenient. Not all the bells and whistles.
Doesn't dock,
Doesn't
but
dock,
still, like people. I mean, people that love DSs are gonna love something
yeah.
like that.
I mean,
So.
that DS shit's getting crazy because they got DS. They got like a DSi XL3. I'm like, what the hell is that? It sounds like a
I'm honestly
computer
like, I
part.
don't even know if we need a Switch Pro with the cloud coming and the attachments
True.
you can get for your phones, or your tablet if that's what you want to use to xCloud. So.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I don't think the Switch Pro is possible in a portable sense.
Wait, so I mean, are we talking? So you mean because we're not? So the Switch Pro, if this was a thing, with air quotes here. I know nobody can watch me. With air quotes here. This was a thing. Are we? So are you saying that based on the fact that you don't think on the hardware side of things it would be possible, or it just doesn't make any sense at this point, or where you coming from?
I'm saying they have marketed a lot on the portability of the Switch, and to make a Switch Pro, they're going to have to create something that, for starters, is more powerful, in which case it's going to consume the battery if it is portable. And even then, I would be kind of curious on if the components themselves could even run off of battery power. That's where I'm just really wondering if the Switch Pro was a thing, if you would be basically sacrificing portability for a more quality 4K image. Like, I'm really thinking it would be more along the lines of something that is, it's, I don't want to say permanently docked, but something that it wouldn't be as portable as the other ones. But you never know, because I remember when the rumor came out that there was two different Switches that were coming out. One was a scaled down version and one was a hopped up version, and we got the scaled down version in the Switch Lite. And there was the other half of that rumor that came out that they have a more powerful version of the Switch. But it's, people would prefer portability. And the interesting part is, at least the people who use the Switches, I'm not saying this is a negative at all, I'm just stating the obvious, that people who use Switches are perfectly fine with not getting that premium 4K image.
Yeah.
They would prefer more along the lines of the portability of the game.
Yeah, they're not on the Switch for high fidelity graphics.
Yeah.
And I don't think so. I think that a lot of that was fake demand. I think so. Twitter sometimes, if you're in Twitter for any length of time in the gaming community, you'll understand that term "fake demand" because it's a small group of people who makes it seem like there's a whole lot going on when there's really not shit going on. Because
it's like
I
the
don't
fake
think,
outrage.
Exactly. I don't think the demand for a Switch Pro or a far stronger Pro is that if the idea of a Switch has nothing to do with power at all. It has nothing to do with power at all. It's all about portability. It's all about ease of use.
How about this? I think there's more people asking for VR on the Xbox than they are asking for a Switch Pro.
I mean,
that's a hot take. That's a hot take. I don't know.
I won't disagree.
I'm not disagreeing. I just yet again think it's just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, we're talking Nintendo here, so let's all take this with a grain of salt. Nintendo,
we get some
understand.
Nintendo VR. Oh wait, they have the Labos. You can do VR.
So Nintendo is.
I'm not even kidding,
dude. I remember when I
have it.
I remember when I said PlayStation had the cheapest VR, and then
they
somebody cornered me and were like, "Well, what about the Switch VR?" And I'm like, "All right, you win."
Yeah, man, we got that shit. My kids are like, "Wow, this isn't very good." They love the Labo stuff, but the VR one's like,
dude, whoa. I don't know what I would do.
You put the screen right in front of my face. Thanks.
It's like, here, take this $300 item and put it in this flimsy cardboard box and strap it to your face, and it's like, I'm not sure about this.
They love all the other ones. That's the one they do not play.
Terrible. Okay, so that was a great question. I think if there's no other questions, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up on that one, guys. I think we are. So that was a great show, everybody. Shout out to Salty coming here all late, motherfucker. Shout out to you, Salt, man. Appreciate him. So you have to catch the replay, Salt. I'll make sure I send you the link, brother, for sure. But we can go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. It was a great, phenomenal show. You guys are always here every single Saturday, showing up, showing out. Appreciate everybody coming out. Make sure you retweet the link again. I'm going to post a link to the actual full show about half an hour to an hour or so. So make sure you guys retweet that as well. You guys enjoy the rest of your holidays, but I will let everybody here around the panel, let everybody know what's going on with them. what you guys can expect coming up. So we'll start with you, Stag. I know the holidays is right around the corner, so let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you at.
I mean, you can find me, on Twitch and Twitter with Staggerilla. God, with the holiday and this new PC, and I'm gonna have to reset everything up. I think I'm gonna have to put things on hiatus because I have to, put all the new stuff on the PC and get everything set back up. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited to experience the master race. I'm just saying, so it'll be good. You can see me sometimes because I do plan on branching out and doing more. That the part of the reason I got the PC was so that I could do more games that are on PC, because there's a ton of crappy indie games that are on PC that just never make it to any of the consoles. So
Yeah.
I look forward to struggling with those.
Nice. So once again, guys, if you're into a lot of indie games or just games in general, and you want to go watch somebody, I highly recommend going to check out Stag, man. He makes it fun. He always engaging with the chat. He's not one of them guys that's sitting there just staring at the fucking donation box hoping that goes up while he's playing the game. So
I don't even have a donation
he
box.
really interacts with the chat, man. He's there for the games, guys. So please do me a favor. If you're not following him on Twitch, go follow him right now, man. Check out everything that guy does, man. So appreciate you once again, Stag, for coming on the show, being super consistent every single week. So Centurion, let everybody know what's going on with you. I know you're back, or you're gonna be back on your normal schedule, doing your videos weekly, daily, whatever the case may be. So let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
You guys can always find me on Xbox Live, YouTube, and Twitter at Centurion1307. I'm on Saltiest Gaming with the Saltiest Gamer right here in the chat on Thursdays on TSGP. I'm kicking it with you guys every Saturday on the Shop Podcast, and I'm also on TXR, the Xbox Roundtable podcast, on Sundays with Invader and all the great guys that are on that show. And I want to just thank you, Blam, for letting me be part of this. This was my first year podcasting. It has been an absolute blast. Awesome, and I want to wish you, Fuzzy, Stagger, everybody in the chat, Salty, I want you guys to have a very Merry Christmas, man. Like, appreciate it. This is starting to feel like family.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. Stag, don't cry, Stag. Just stop. Stag. It's okay, Stag. Stop.
Sorry about that, man.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, chat. Sorry. Stag just gets emotional from time to time, so it's all good.
It's just really hard.
So either way, Fuzz, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, man. Barry Ross, man, what you got going on for the holidays, and let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, as well as Xbox Live. I'll probably hop back on PSN here soon, but it's either Fuzzy_Belvedere or Fuzzy Belvedere with a space or no space on Instagram. Usually playing Forza or Division because I finally cleared my stash space. Yay. And but yeah, just looking forward to the holidays. Got some stuff for the boys, and man, it's looking forward to the new year. It's been great being on the show with you guys. Look forward to this every Saturday, and man, thanks for everybody out in the chat. Love the support, guys.
Awesome. So shout out to Jay, just dropped in, graphic guy. Shout out to Jay, man. He just jumped in too. You Z Black and Salt, man. Y'all need to get a timer. Y'all need to set a timer.
They planned this.
Yeah, I know, right? It all came in at the last 5 minutes. No, I love you guys.
Well, let's just go in the last 5 minutes and act like we care.
No, they're amazing. So shout out to Graphic God Jay. Shout out to Z Black. Shout out to Salt as well, man. These guys are amazing, man. Part of the family essentially here at the shop, man. So and yeah, I think we got to everybody. So except for myself. So follow me, PTK Blam everywhere. Twitter, Xbox, man. Hit your boy if you want to play some games. I like to play online from here and there. Depending on what you guys got, what you guys want to do, as well as subscribe to the channel, man. Appreciate you guys' continued support, man. The 2019 is over. 2019 is pretty much over at this point, man. There's one more Saturday in this year essentially left. So you guys join us next week, same time, same place. We will have a guest next week, so that's going to be amazing. I'm actually working on that now. So that's going to be really, really good. So you guys will be surprised at who's going to be on. But appreciate you guys' love and support. Here next week, same time, same place. Once again, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your holidays. Be safe out there, everybody. Peace out.